I had the honor of having dinner with one of my dear friends and colleagues a couple of weeks ago, and we had a wonderful conversation. This friend of mine is one of the most generous and amazing human beings I think I've ever met in my entire life. And he's confronted on a daily basis with a lot of other people's needs, and that's both in his family and his professional life and the immense amount of volunteer work that he does. And so I was always inspired by his ability to meet those other individuals' needs, other people's needs in his life. And so I asked him just point blank, like, how do you cope with all of the need that you have to fulfill on a daily basis? And he had a very simple and easy response. He just said, you have to focus on the solutions. He said, there are always going to be problems. He said, but it's very important that we acknowledge the problems, but don't dwell on them. He really emphasized the need to focus single-mindedly on the solutions that are available to us, that there will always be problems that are distracting, and there will always be problems that we cannot solve. But he said it's important to focus on the solutions. It's about moving forward. And what that means is that if we focus on the solutions, then we're not just static, we're not just fixating on the problems in front of us, but we can see those problems and move beyond that and take the next step and move into solving those problems. And it was really interesting because we kind of came up with a really nice little three-part model. In order to move forward, you have to acknowledge the problems, but focus on the solutions. If you want to stay static, just stay focused on the problems. And if you want to move back, you can start ignoring the problems. So I think moving forward is the best approach here. And I guess in my life, when I think about the different challenges that I meet on a daily basis and whether or not I'm looking at the problem or trying to identify a solution, it can be from anything as minor as sending an email to as major as existential crises about what am I going to do with my life. So I think in these moments of reflection, it's critically important that we acknowledge what the problem is. You know, what is the challenge that we're having? Are we just distracted with other issues in our lives? Are we stressed out? Are we just tired? Or is it something within the challenge that we're facing that we're really struggling with? And once we acknowledge that, okay, so how can we move beyond that? What is the solution that's kind of wrapped up in that problem? And then to focus only on that solution, kind of have that sense of purpose and single-mindedness, so we're not becoming distracted by the multiple other problems that surround any given issue. That way we can move forward. I often catch myself, though, still focusing on that problem. I don't really have good advice here in order to in order to at least try to start inventing solutions. But I catch myself doing this on occasion, and I think it's important as a reminder that we don't fixate on the problems, that we move beyond the problems into what the solution might be. And above all, never ignore the problem. Ignoring the problem will never make it go away. And whether that's a social problem that you're just kind of constantly exposed to in your life, or whether that's a specific issue that you're facing right now, ignoring the problem doesn't make it go away. It will fixate and it will become even more challenging.